drastically change the game, or even really change it in any way, would be optimal. Just purely cosmetic shit would be preferable. 4. New EOD perks will be balanced too. We will remove prioritized matching option to keep everyone in the same spot, and we will add more unique stuff to highlight the EOD version in the game in general. We will provide the final list of the new EOD perks ASAP. This one's huge because they're getting rid of one of the most alarming features they were touting, which was prioritized matchmaking through paying 250 fucking doubloons. So they're like, okay, we'll just get rid of that. That's good. That is just good, no matter how you look at that. Thankfully, they're getting rid of it. It's really concerning that they were even toying around. Well, not even toying around. It's really concerning that they were actually going to go through with the idea of introducing a prioritized matchmaking feature to this game. That is a huge red flag. But it's going bye-bye now, so the community is just going to have to trust that in the future, Nikita won't try and pull some shit like that again. I don't know how you'd ever have trust in this guy at the helm of this company going forward, but that's not for me to decide. That's going to be for individual players. And 5, we continue to work on patches, new content events, and the game release itself no matter what. Thank you for your time, love, and hate, and thank you for your increased attention to the current situation, Nick. Hey, no problem at all, Nick. I'm always happy to insult greedy little assholes like you. So, the community's response to this one has been much more positive because they are directly addressing some of the bigger problems and introducing their solutions to it. Now, they are not budging on the $250 price, which I am still upset about, even as someone who was never going to buy it. I hate the precedent that sets. If a lot of people buy $250 DLC, obviously, other games are going to be taking note of that and seeing how far they can push these prices and also how closely they can tap dance on this line. Because Nikita right now is unironically a pioneer. He is stepping on every possible landmine of greed, so that way every other video game company can take notes of what communities will and will not accept. So he's doing a lot of guinea pigging for the entire industry right now, and it makes me a little concerned going forward. Another thing that's absent from this update is addressing the fact that they lied. Like, point blank, lied. And they also tried to sneakily change shit on their website to hide that fact. No mention of that at all, and that's super scummy. So I do think that's something that they really need to continue to be grilled on. And thankfully they still are. I did mention that it has been more positively received, but it's not by everybody, of course. There are too many people that feel betrayed by this company, and they don't want to continue to support this. If they can't trust the developer down the line to not try and fuck their wallet again, why are they going to continue to invest time into this game and money? It wouldn't make sense. So a lot of people are leaving for sure, and a lot of people are still calling out these facts that not everything is, you know, sunshine and unicorns here. Like, it's not really a full win or anything like that. It's just better in a bad situation that was made out of it. In the comment section, he did reply to a really important question where a user said, "You have still not addressed the fact you are planning to release DLC for the game that was not going to be delivered to EOD owners. Please confirm that EOD owners will receive all content for the game in the future as promised when we purchase the product." And he responded saying, "Yes, EOD owners will receive all of the DLCs." So I don't know if this is him slyly finally falling on his own sword here and admitting that the Unheard Edition is DLC. It is DLC. No matter how much he's tried to argue the opposite, I think this is finally him just eating shit on it and saying that yes, it is DLC, thus we will make good on our promise that EOD owners will get it for free. However, a comment that replied under his made a really good point, that this is only applicable until they try and make the argument again in the future about how their newest DLC is actually not DLC. So I agree with that user that there is a good chance that fast forward a year, 2 years, however long from now, when Tarkov's got another major version coming out here, a new major content delivery, he might try something similar about, this one's really not DLC, so EOD owners will not be receiving this one for free. You will need to pay for the upgrade, you know, all that hoopla again. Go through this entire song and dance once more. I do think it's possible, but I have no idea. Maybe Nikita put his hand on the stove, realized it's hot, and took it off and won't put it back on. There's no telling. This was a stupid, entirely avoidable situation that BSG found themselves in here. Their greed nearly ruined their entire game, and it still might have. There's probably plenty of people who have totally lost trust in Tarkov, and won't stick around. I think there's a good chunk of players that are falling into that camp, and I think that's great. But there's still plenty of people that are going to play and support this game because they love the game. They might not love Nikita and they might not love the company behind it, but the game really hits for them. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it does suck that no matter what Nikita and BSG did here, they are still going to be making tons and tons and tons of money from this. Like, they went through, a handful of days of being, made fun of and clowned on, but they're still going to end up making an absolute fucking ton of cash from charging $250 for this DLC. But yeah, anyway, that's where the whole Tarkov situation is at here. I do think Nikita should be in the conversation for stupidest person in the gaming industry right now. Tarkov is a massively popular game that he almost ruined. Like, straight up buried from this greed. So I think that is a very impressive feat that you don't see often. Games of this size don't usually collapse unless a competitor comes out and beats it, which right now isn't happening with Tarkov. It still has an absolute stranglehold on this genre. So it is pretty impressive just how bad of a decision this was, and how reluctant Nikita was to change it, or do anything at all. Pandemics are a real bummer. There's nothing good that comes from a pandemic. It's all bad stuff from top to bottom. But we'd be lying to ourselves if we didn't acknowledge that Zoom might be one of the best things to ever happen to court. I have a guilty pleasure of tuning into disastrous Zoom court hearings, and they happen all the time. Every single day there's a new atrocious Zoom court moment. And yesterday we were blessed with an absolute banger, a scrumptious little masterpiece. A gentleman was scheduled to appear in court over Zoom about a suspended driver's license. And he does his due diligence as any good citizen would. He joins the Zoom meeting. However, he joined while driving with a suspended license, which the whole hearing was about, leaving the entire court stunned. Absolutely, it was as if for a moment every member of that courthouse stared into the eyes of a basilisk and was turned to stone, just instantly petrified in sheer bewilderment that he had called in while driving in a case about a suspended license that he has, driving without a valid license. And what's even more interesting is this isn't the only time it's happened. This one just happened to be the newest and more entertaining one that I've seen. I was wondering why so many people all of a sudden just asked me about, like, the guy with a suspended license joining a Zoom call while driving. Apparently this just happened again. I remember something like this happened years ago. This must be kind of common.
Or calls case People versus Corey Harris.
Natalie Stiller on behalf of Pittsfield Township.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Tate for Mr. Harris, who should be present in Zoom.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
It's an auto-driving vehicle, Your Honor. I'm here babysitting it.
You stationary?
I'm pulling in right now at
Thanks,
this
Reese,
second.
milkshake.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Brother, we can still see the environment. You were parked for like a second there, and he's still like, yeah, almost parked, parking, almost parked, as he's trying to like think of reasons for like how he's gonna get out of this. Almost parked, almost there. His membership spark.
I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
All right. What are we doing?
Your Honor, we are respectfully requesting an adjournment in this matter, up possibly 2 to 4 weeks if the court would allow.
Oh my god, that was the most aggressive frown I've ever seen. He is mean mugging so hard. Cedric Simpson is fucking... He's got like a cartoonish frown. That's like an emoji frown. Thanks, Zuri Sub Queen.
Okay. So maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended,
That is correct, Your Honor.
and he was just driving.
Ooh,
And
Your Honor, we don't have allegedly driving. We don't have all of the evidence. We can only see from his chest up. Anything. This could be green screen. It could be deepfaked.
and
Get ready for the best summer day in LA with Universal Mega Movie Summer at Universal Studios Hollywood. Because there's something in the water. Something from the past. There's something behind you. Don't miss the all-new Universal Mega Movie Summer, now through August 10th. Visit UniversalStudiosHollywood.com for details.
he didn't have a license.
Is with the charges, Your Honor, yes.
No, I'm looking at his
Yes.
record. He doesn't have a license. He's suspended and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Well, he's listening. Say it to him. He raised his hand. Can you ask him a question, Your Honor? Is this real? Is this fucking real? Wait, Tampa Bay. That's my neck of the woods. Hey, hold on. I gotta learn a little bit more about this. Perhaps he's been framed. Everyone here is stun locked. It's just complete fucking silence that has fallen on the courtroom. This guy's doing his best to keep it together. Her as well.
Hello?
Hey. How's it going, Corey?
1 minute, Mr. Harris.
What do you mean 1 minute? Let him defend himself. There's a lot of slander being thrown around in there.
I don't even know why he would do that. So, defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today.
Can you get his side of the story, please, Your Honor?
Result in a bench warrant with no bond. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Harris, I'll be giving you a call.
Okay.
Court calls case, People versus Maya Isom.
I feel like we may have brushed over this case a little too quickly, Your Honor.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Page for Ms. Isom.
There was more to this story. It was like a transformer, more than meets the eye. Time to drive back home. Yeah, true. So what was the verdict? We don't know yet. It's still in deliberation. Your Honor, he's not driving the car. He's just rolling in neutral with him in it. He's been kidnapped, which is why he was so silent. He was speaking in code. Clearly, he was just trying to prove that his license should be reinstated. Honestly, he could have made that point. Like, as you can see, Your Honor, I'm doing just fine here. I would appreciate if you'd reinstate my license now. Do you remember the court Zoom call when someone joined in with a cat filter? There's been a lot of... I am super happy that so many of these court things have gone to Zoom because it always ends up just going online. And some of them are just amazing. Like the guy that joined, I think it was I don't remember what it was, like what he was joining for, but it was something that he needed to appear in court for, so he did it over Zoom, and he joined with the name Buttfucker9000. And the judge was like, "What is your name, sir? That is not your name." And he's like, "Oh God, I don't know how that got there. Yeah, I'm not, oh God."
Then we'll bring this fool in.
Oh, Buttfucker3000, sorry. 9000 was like mini versions in the future.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
Me?
Yeah, you. Yes.
Nathaniel Saxon, sir.
Your name's not Buttfucker3000, you yo-ho. Logging into my court with that as your screen name.
Why
We'll
would that?
discuss that in a little bit.
Big miscalculation from Jason
What kind of
Statham.
idiot logs into court like that?
100% that guy was just logging into the Zoom thing and thought he just needed like a temporary name. Because there are some things where you just type in like a name and it never shows up. It just uses your real name or whatever. It's just like, all right, whatever, buttfucker 3000. And it just runs with it. It's so good. Also, Joseph, please change the angle. When I first watched this video, I thought for sure he had his cock out. I was like really thinking I was looking at this man stroking his meat. That is a terrible angle, Joseph. Get control of your court, Jeffrey. He probably had that name before joining. Oh, that's true. Doesn't Zoom log your names? Yeah, maybe he did have that name with like his friends or something. That's a good point. I forgot about that. Look at the one for the cat filter. Alright, we'll do the cat filter next.
Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take a look.
Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but
Why? It's fine. This is helping your case.
I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
Thank you for clarifying.
I can see that.
Jeffrey Toobin getting caught jerking off. Yeah, I made a whole video on that one. That one was great. Lubin the Toobin. Lost his whole job over that, too. And then they had him... That one's so good. Because they brought Jeffrey Toobin back on down the line. They're like, so what did you get fired for? And he's like, well, you know what I got fired for. I was masturbating. A Zoom meeting. I thought I was alone. They had him like recount it as if it was a... Yesterday, we were blessed with one of the most recklessly stupid things I've ever seen broadcast on Twitch. It had all of the perfect ingredients for a beautiful fairy tale. Alcohol and crossbows. Before showing the clip, I'll go ahead and give you the important lore tidbits so you can be brought up to speed here. The channel is Official Duck Studios, which is a name I'm sure a lot of you have heard of before. They're a big channel here on YouTube, and they also produce Twitch content. They were doing a drinking stream, and somewhere along the pipeline, things got a little wacky. They took a sharp left turn into Sillyville and hatched a marvelously dangerous idea of, could their crossbow penetrate a closet door? A question that has plagued the mind of scientists for hundreds of years now, and Official Duck Studios decided it was their time to shine. They were finally going to get an answer to this age-old question. Just some modern-day myth-busting. But instead of just shooting the crossbow at the door and seeing the results, they sent their cameraman behind the door, I guess to get like a more cinematic angle of it. Now, for any of you out there that have finished the 3rd grade, you'll know that the answer to this question is yes. A crossbow can easily penetrate a closet door. Closet doors aren't exactly known for their durability. They're not made out of like a fucking titanium core. You know, we're not talking about a vault door. We're talking about a closet door, which if you like bounce a basketball off, it will have it fucking explode. But they sent their cameraman behind it, and he ended up getting shot by the crossbow, which led to the channel getting banned. Now, I want to be clear, I've watched a good bit of Official Duck Studios content, and I am a fan of their work. This was a wild stunt they tried here. I'm not exactly sure what went awry, but the clip is magnificent in a concerning way. So I talked about it on stream, but I couldn't show the clip there for obvious reasons. But I can show it here on YouTube, baby. So we're going full throttle here. The clip isn't like disturbing or anything. You can't see any like blood or guts. His intestines aren't like pouring out of a hole in his abdomen or anything. But you can see the crossbow easily get through the door and hit him in the stomach. Now, it is important to note that someone had the foresight of a potential catastrophe and decided to shoot the crossbow bolt without the tip, which actually saved their cameraman, Joey's, life.
You don't have to make a poll, just type chat yes if you think it'll go straight through, or no if you think it'll get stopped in the door. Hang on. Are you ready, Joey? Hang on.
If anyone said no, if anyone for even a split second thought there was a possibility that a fucking crossbow bolt wouldn't pierce through this door, you need to get the fuck out of stupid town. Like, holy shit. There was no world where the crossbow bolt was gonna get stuck or ricochet off the door. There was only one outcome, which was full penetration.
I don't think Joey's right behind the door. If he is, I'm not liable for this. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Are you good?
All right. Okay.
Are you actually not good?
Yeah, I don't exactly know what Joey was thinking either. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong here except for one thing. That hero that decided not to have the tip on the bolt. That was the difference between a Mortal Kombat fatality and just a big boo-boo. He showed the aftermath on stream. There is blood, but it's not gruesome or anything like that. It's just something that's going to be painful for quite some time. It's probably not even going to need stitches or anything. I don't think. It doesn't seem deep enough for that. So overall, he got very lucky in an unfortunate circumstance. I still don't know why he positioned himself like a fucking hockey goalie, like he was there to deflect the crossbow bolt. Like he could have... There was no reason for him to go in the closet in the first place. He could have just been filming from outside and they would have known if the crossbow went straight through or not. I still don't know why they sent him in there, other than to just, like, put him in harm's way for fun, I guess. But even when he went in there, he still could have went, like, off to the side, because there was clearly some room to the side where it's not, like, right in front of the door. But he just went in there and just fucking posted up. Just, like, right in front of the door to take up as much space as possible, so if it went through, he was going to get hit. So that was wild. The channel did get banned for this. I don't think it'll be a perma-ban, but I'm also not sure. No, like I said, I don't think there's going to be a perma-ban. It's official Duck Studios, and they were drunk. Yeah, sounds about right. I don't know how anyone would have thought that the door would stop a fucking crossbow bolt, even without a tip. There was no world where it was just going to ricochet off of that door. It's a closet door. That shit's made out of, like, construction paper. Oh, nice. I didn't even know this part. Conversation began with him asking his chat whether or not they thought the bolt would go through the door, letting his chat vote on it, despite most of them saying yes, and he himself saying the door was toast if it got shot by the bolt. They sent Joey behind the door anyway and shot at him. Nice. I guess that's good. He wasn't, like, surprised. Maybe this was like a premeditated murder attempt. Is the guy alright? Yeah, he's fine. They didn't have the tip on it, so he just got, like, a moderately deep puncture. What if it went in his butthole and out his pee-pee? Finally, a real intellectual asking the hard-hitting questions. If they did put the tip on it, he would have probably fucking died. A shot to the abdomen from a fucking crossbow. What a way to go out. Oh, true, yeah. Like the couple that tried to stop a desert eagle using an encyclopedia. If it had the tip on it, would have went smooth through the door like butter. Oh, you haven't seen the clip then, because it goes smooth through the door like butter without the tip. It's a fucking crossbow. It had no problem going through a closet door. Closet doors, you can, like, accidentally break if you open it normally. Like, a crossbow bolt was always gonna pierce through that. Bro got wall banged and got a hit marker. Not wrong. He was very close to having a major problem here. I still can't believe that shit. The thought process is wild. Musket? Yeah, maybe they should try a musket next. Can a musket penetrate a closet door? We'll send Joey inside to try it out. How many doors does it take to stop a crossbow from killing my friend? Yeah, that's like an old school Mr. Beast video. Honestly, that'd be kind of hype. Like, if Joey's up for it, he could just double down on this. Maybe he could train himself to have an immunity to crossbow bolts. Like, he's already got a taste of it, his body's adapting. So now maybe they send him behind 2 doors and they shoot the crossbow and see the kind of damage there and just see if his skin is getting thicker. Kind of like how ninjas used to train with small doses of poison to build up an immunity. He could do that for crossbows. And then pretty soon he can storm any castle without fear. I don't know why anyone's surprised they got banned for this. I've seen like 4 people say, why did he get banned? Gone are the days of being able to shoot our friends with crossbows, I guess. God damn it. What happened to a free country? We can't just shoot each other with crossbows anymore. It's all gone to the birds now. You guys know, like, this shit's happened quite a bit. You guys remember, can't remember his name, but I think he was with SOAR. He brought out a loaded gun on stream while drunk, cocked it, and immediately just blasted a hole into his wall, into his fucking family room or whatever. He got banned for life on that, and no one even got hurt there, but it was just a recklessly dangerous action that he got banned for. This time someone actually just got fucking shot with a crossbow. Yep, a good desk pop. Yeah, a classic desk pop. This was like 2 years ago. He was drinking from a shoe. It's called a shoey, you swine. And yeah, like I said, he was drunk, and then blasted a desk pop, which was crazy. But yeah, this isn't like an isolated incident. This shit's been enforced for a long time. You shoot somebody. I'm ashamed to admit this, but I've already confessed to this sin numerous times now, and I'll do it again in front of you and God. I use Twitter. Actively. I spend a decent chunk of time on Twitter. It's this beautiful cesspool that acts like a portal into the dimension of pure, unhinged lunacy, and I can't look away. It's like a curse that keeps drawing me back in. And you'd think that after spending so much time on Twitter, I'd seen all the stupidest shit the world had to offer from all of the dumbest people in this godforsaken dimension we live in. But you'd be wrong. Somehow there are still videos that shock me with the pure level of absolute insanity that's put on display. You may have heard this story already, or you may not have, but regardless, I'm gonna drag you kicking and screaming into the light and show you an imbecile that's so stupid they're a legitimate danger to the people around them. You remember Ed from Ed, Edd n Eddy? Yeah, he was a big fucking idiot, real silly, but he was a harmless moron. The goofy goober I'm about to show you nearly got a woman killed for no reason and left her with permanent injuries that will haunt her for the rest of her life. A Colorado officer pulled over and arrested a woman on suspicion of road rage, and she put the suspect in the back of her police vehicle. A police vehicle that was parked on fucking train tracks. Something that an actual child, a baby brain, would know not to do. In Mario Kart, no one would even park on the train tracks. Yet, in the real life, a police officer parked their vehicle on train tracks, put the suspect in handcuffs in the back of the car, and then, guess what happened? A fucking train came and obliterated the car, with the suspect inside. It's a miracle she didn't die. Somehow she survived with very serious injuries, but this officer pulled off like a Looney Tunes level assassination plot here. Like, parking your car on train tracks with a suspect inside, that's like something you do in Red Dead Redemption 2, as a way of like torturing someone, like tying them to the tracks or some shit. This honestly feels like an elaborate attempt at murdering the suspect. It's actually fucking wild. I'm gonna show the video now. There's nothing graphic in the video, but it is still disturbing knowing that there's someone inside this vehicle that gets hit by the train. So just a fair warning there.
Is that hard?
No, that's time check. Oh my god.
Officers noticed what was about to occur. A freight train colliding into a Platteville police cruiser parked on train tracks along Highway 85 and County Road 36.
Dispatch 346, get us medical emergent. The suspect was in the vehicle that was hit by the train.
You'll never guess the outcome for the officer that did this. Paid administrative leave. So, nearly kill a woman by having them be hit by a train, and then take a little paid vacation. It's crazy how this happens every single time like clockwork. It's a fucking joke. I'm not here to even really talk about that. I want to focus on this situation in particular. How the fuck can you make this kind of mistake? It almost feels like it's not a mistake. It really feels like this officer was just trying to kill this woman in a really creative way. If I'm being honest, I don't know what's scarier. This being a case of an absolute villain, a psychopath just trying to kill this suspect, or it being a case of her being so fucking dumb that she actually thought it was okay to park on train tracks. I really don't know which one's the scarier situation, because if she's this stupid and somehow a police officer, how many others are this dumb and also police officers? Fucking terrifying. In the video, not only can you hear the train for a good like 8 to 10 seconds, you can hear it coming from miles away, it's a fucking train, but you can also even see the train in the background because of the goddamn lights. It's a fucking train. It's like one of the hardest things in the world to miss. Now, I know I've been singling out the protagonist here, the officer responsible for handcuffing the suspect and putting her in the police cruiser that she parked on the train tracks, but it's not just her. Every officer at the scene is at fault here. How could not a single one of them use their brain for even a fraction of a second and rationalize that This is probably not good. You don't need to be a turbo nerd with perfect scores on your SAT, pass the bar, and solve the Millennium Math Prize problem in order to figure out that something's gone awry if your vehicle is parked on train tracks. It's a dangerous situation. Not one of them stopped for a second and just looked around like, these tracks. What are these peculiar markings? They look man-made. I don't think these are naturally occurring Colorado dirt tracks. What uses tracks? Alright, trains. Oh my god! Like, how? How are the neurons not firing in this situation? Like, do they just have no survival instincts whatsoever? Obviously they don't care about the suspect. No one really gave a spirited attempt to save their life or anything. But even still, they clearly didn't recognize the danger here, so I'm assuming they also could have just been hit by that train as well, because all of them failed to recognize the situation. This happened in the middle of the night. There is not a single other car around. There's not a single sign of life around. They could have parked those cars in any position for miles around that area and been safe. And somehow they chose the only position that was dangerous, on train tracks in the middle of fucking nowhere here. Like, this isn't a freak accident. This is gross stupidity on a level that is downright dangerous, and it almost cost a woman her life. According to the report, the lady was kicking and screaming and like frantically trying to get their attention to the oncoming train because, obviously, just panicking because she had her eyes open and could obviously recognize the imminent threat. Whereas apparently all of the officers, I believe it was 3 officers in total, somehow all of them went deaf at the same time, as well as got hit by like a flashbang and couldn't see the train somehow and just missed it and let it hit their car with the suspect inside. It's just crazy to me. Like, it is actually wild. But hey, at least they're investigating themselves. Those usually go well and turn up fucking nothing. But in this situation, I truly don't see how they could possibly drum up any kind of explanation that excuses this. Like, this is just so fucking dumb, I can't possibly think of any kind of explanation. Like, you can't even blame the suspect here, like, well, while the woman was in custody, her road rage took over again, the demon came out, and she started planting a railroad system underneath our car in order to divert a train onto the path of hitting our cruiser in order to blast herself out and free herself and escape. So, this is her fault. Like, there's nothing and no one to blame except all of the officers at the scene here. They're all so fucking stupid, and I don't know how this investigation could prove anything otherwise. But anyway, we've all had extremely awful ideas at some point in our life. It's part of the human condition. We're cursed to occasionally think of the stupidest shit possible. I'll go ahead and share one of my worst ideas ever with all of you, and I know I brought this up before, but I think it's always worth mentioning again. For what it's worth, I still think this could have been a banger video. I'm not convinced it's actually a stinky idea, but my friends stepped in and slapped some sense into me. I wanted to do a breast milk tier list, where we get a lot of different breast milk from some strangers and compare it to see who has the best, you know, which athlete submitted the tastiest sample. You know, like, imagine that video. That goes so hard. That's like a Mr. Beast 100 million view video right there. Here's 100 strangers all lactating in a circle. Whoever has the best breast milk wins a house, you know. Point is, we didn't do it, and this is what separates us from the true lunatics. We're able to recognize when an idea is terrible and shouldn't be acted upon. At least most of us. Like I said, in terms of breast milk, I still think there was a nugget of genius with that idea. But the ability to not actually go through on a horrible idea is extremely important and apparently a skill some people lack. I want to show you a video as well as go over a situation that happened in Mississippi this week where a daycare worker was convinced it was a good idea to go into the daycare wearing a scream mask and yelling and shaking kids for no reason at all other than to be cruel. Not that there's ever a reason to put on like a Halloween mask and start like trying to jump scare 4-year-olds. I can't really think of a situation where that would make sense, it'd be justified, like, oh, I see. So the reason you went up and started yelling and screaming at this 4-year-old spitting on their face is because they didn't write their name in cursive properly. Ah, okay, now I get it. Just an all-around fucking stupid decision from this lady here to do this. It's pretty disturbing to watch, so I'm not going to show you too much of it, it's pretty hard to sit through. And these kids are so young that if you put like a ball behind your back, they're gonna think it vanished. These are really young kids we're talking about here who are very, very scared and upset about this. So I have no doubt that they probably went home fucking frightened. Like, it could have been traumatizing, I have no doubt. The daycare worker did get fired.
Where's your playlist taking you? Down the highway? To the mountains? Or just into daydream mode while you're stuck in traffic? With over 4,000 hotels worldwide, Best Western is there to help you make the most of your getaway, wherever that is. Because the only thing better than a great playlist is a great trip. Life's the trip. Make the most of it at Best Western. Book direct and save at bestwestern.com.
Care worker did get fired. I'll give you the good news right away. They were investigated and fired for this incident based on what I read. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of it. Hey, calm down, kids. It's just a prank. What? Why aren't you laughing? It's a YouTube prank video. What don't you get about it? Oh, lighten up. Come on. Oh, why are the parents upset? What, you sent your kids to daycare to, like, learn or be safe or something? No, I'm letting the demon out. I'm scaring the shit out of them. That's what daycare is all about, I guess. Just an all-around, completely brain-dead idea here. And you would think they'd stop after this first room here, like, maybe they're so stupid they didn't grasp that kids are obviously going to be afraid of yelling in a creepy mask. So you'd think that they're like, oh, okay, this was a bad idea, maybe delete the video and we're never going to talk about this again. But they were so confident and having so much fun, they did this to the entire daycare, even after this first room. I always hate when people say this and reference the show, even though I did like the show, but it truly does feel like a scene straight out of The Office where Michael cooks up the dumbest fucking plan imaginable and then does it. I get the same vibe from this whole situation as I do something from that show. Now, I first saw this on Twitter, and Twitter being this repository of the dumbest fucking most unhinged takes of all time, I expected a lot of the comments to say things like, kids are too soft these days anyway, we need to toughen them up. In fact, I don't think the daycare worker went far enough. We need to start feeding them nails in their cereal and motor oil in their milk. Make them big and tough, grow up big and strong for the harsh world we live in here. But to my surprise, I actually didn't see any of those takes. This was so indefensible that not even the most brain-rotted zombies on Twitter came out in support of this in any way. It really is just a genuinely horrible idea, start to finish, top to bottom. It's just a crazy lady who thought this was a good idea to just traumatize the kids there. And she's not alone, by the way. She does have an accomplice. I didn't show her in the video, but the woman filming shows another woman who's encouraging her, saying, oh, those kids over there have been kind of naughty. Maybe you should go scare them, which she does. So I don't know if they're using this as some form of cruel punishment for not following directions properly. I don't really know. But she's not alone. There was at least one other person who was encouraging this behavior. I'd also like to say I read a post from the woman who filmed this video. Apparently, she wasn't in cahoots with the masked lunatic here, this deranged maniac who did this. She was filming this as evidence that they're kind of fucked up. Apparently they had done this before and it wasn't filmed, so this time she wanted to make sure she got it on tape to send to the parents to let them know what was going on. Of course, this could be a lie, there's no telling for sure, but I am inclined to believe that because it doesn't sound like the woman filming is like encouraging her or anything like that, at least not that I heard. So I just wanted to at least put that out there for like complete information regarding this. I'd also like to give a personal tale from the past of Charles, a little lore dump here, some exposition. I do remember being in like 3rd or 4th grade, and for Halloween, sometimes a teacher would dress up or decorate the room and maybe even make it like a creepy, like, moment scare thing. But it was always so quick, where it was like, ah, gotcha. It's just me, the teacher, Miss Algebra here. You know, like Scooby-Doo, where they unmask the things, so that way the kids aren't super afraid. Also, I was like 9 or 10. You know, I wasn't like 4 years old like the kids in this video. So I think there is just a huge difference. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with teachers having fun with Halloween in the classroom, like decorating it, or even doing like a, ooh, spooky moment thing. But it has to be something quick and not fucking traumatizing like this. There's just no place for that. At the end of the day, when you play a prank or you do like a lighthearted scare that's supposed to be in good fun, afterwards, everyone should be able to laugh about it. They shouldn't be screaming and crying as a result of your prank or whatever. I won't show you any more clips from the video, but I would like to describe one more thing that happened in here that I found to be particularly disturbing. One of the kids gets so frightened he starts running away as quick as he can, but the lady in the mask starts chasing after him and then picks him up and brings him back to the area where she's yelling and screaming at the kids. So I feel like this is going to make every kid here hate October, as well as feel genuinely unsafe at that daycare from this point forward. And it's also going to make the parents really concerned, because this is someone they've trusted with their kids. And for some reason they decided to just start scaring the shit out of them for no reason whatsoever. So overall, just a horrible idea and a bad situation. I am happy to hear they got fired for this. 100% deserved. I think that is 100%. You see about the lady in Montana with the husky. Talking about the lady that killed and skinned a husky because she thought it was a wolf and bragged about it on Facebook. That stupid asshole? Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, this dumb inbred moron shot and killed a husky and then skinned it and started posting pictures of it on Facebook, talking about how she's like saving the world one coyote or one wolf kill at a time or whatever. I really think there is like a level of stupidity where you are a danger, and she's definitely crossed that line. Like, I really think that's like a legitimate concern. Like those cops that parked their car on the train tracks with a suspect inside and then got hit by a train. Like, there is a level of stupid where if someone, you know, makes it past that event horizon, they are a danger. It didn't even remotely look like a wolf. I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, she is so fucking dumb that she should not be allowed back into general population. She'll shoot a person and say it was Bigfoot. Yeah, maybe. That'll be your next hunting endeavor. Alright, I know you guys were mad about the wolf, but look at this chupacabra I just killed. And it's just like a hairy guy. Someone posted on I am very badass of her boyfriend talking shit to all the people angry she killed a husky. That I didn't see. I'm gonna look that up right now. Yeah, because her boyfriend took the pictures, right? Let's see. Any of you motherfuckers talk all the shit you cuz... What? Man, what in the inbred? Immediately? Any of you motherfuckers talk all the shit you cuz not one of you motherfuckers are tough enough to act on any of your bullshit said. If so, come on to my place and I'll beat your fucking ass myself. Yeah, my girlfriend was out hunting and shot a fucking dog that was dumped out in the woods. No charges have been filed or will be filed because no laws were broke. It was a deer-chasing feral-ass dog on the wrong place at the wrong time. If you want to be a bunch of crybaby-ass fucking sheep, keep going, because we really don't give two fucks about what's going on or what's being said. Mistakes happen. Big fucking deal. You crybaby motherfuckers, and for any other hunters who want to talk shit saying it looks bad, well fucking shit. Hey, watch out, this guy's gonna shit. Oh no, oh no! Oh no, they're gonna shit! Well, fucking shit it does, you stupid motherfuckers, but mistakes happen, so like I said, any of you fucks want to act on these threats and bullshit, come up, cause I got one for you. Said with a guy with a profile pic that's not even of him. Very confident. I'm imagining 3 missing teeth, Probably camo shorts, overalls, IPA in hand. This could become a new copy pasta. And it's a little too incomprehensible to be a copy pasta. Like the Navy SEALs one, like that one's perfect. Like you get everything you need and it's like, it's readable. This is confusing. The Navy SEAL one also applies to so many situations. This one's very niche. Very, very niche. How can you even defend that? Just own up to it. You killed a fucking dog. You can't. This guy's just so inbred that his brain is rotted so much that he still tries. No, this is Montana. The lady who shot and skinned the Huskies from Montana, and this is her boyfriend. This guy probably wears those shirts with the skeletons holding guns with the American flag on it. I love those targeted marketing shirts. I didn't listen to Tim McGraw for 20 years for you to look at my daughter. You want to date my daughter? You better get a coffin ready, bub. I got 6 in the chamber, a brewski in the back, and a bad attitude. This guy uses a tack shaver 100%. Yeah, this guy is absolutely tack shaving. God, her smiling over it is just so infuriating. Yeah, you're right. No missing teeth. Damn. But here's the tough guy with that nice bit of a badassery on Facebook. You don't want to say it to his face, partner. So I also don't see a follow-up of them being, like, even investigated. I just read something so ridiculous that I've been sitting here for the last, like, 10 or 15 minutes just stewing in my own filthy anger, almost in, like, this meditative state, just trying to process the absurdity of it. And this is a situation I'm not even involved in, and yet still it has managed to steam my vegetables, just because of how outrageous it is. This whole thing is so crazy, I just couldn't help myself but share it with all of you, so I hope you don't mind if I hit the dance floor real quick and bust it wide open for you here. So 2 months ago, some of you may have seen that Afro Man posted this music video, "Will you help me repair my door?" This went viral on TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube as well. And basically it's Afro Man making a song out of a raid that was conducted on his property based on narcotics and kidnapping claims. And it turns out it was completely bogus. They got nothing out of it, and they kind of ransacked this whole place, and he had cameras set up around his property that recorded all of it, so he made a music video kind of teasing them about it. He made a catchy little jingle about the whole thing, and the title is about, you know, them breaking his door and breaking his gate and just going over the damage that they caused there.
Want to remind your partner how much you love them? Send a big musical hug to their ears with Radio Optimism by LG, the 24/7 dedication station, where every track is made by you for them. Tap below to get started. LG.
That they caused there while looking really silly, and now he is being sued for it. He is being sued because the officers were offended, their feelings got hurt, and they're claiming emotional distress. He clowned on them, and it hurt their goddamn feelings so much that now they're coming after him legally. It wasn't enough to just destroy his property and pillage his home like they were Vikings, and also traumatize his kids apparently, which is something he mentions in his song. Now they want to slap him even more by issuing this lawsuit to him, which I think is just an absolute load of baloney. What a pile of dirty barnacles. 4 deputies, 2 sergeants, and a detective with the Adams County Sheriff's Office brought the suit earlier this month, claiming an invasion of privacy. Let me just stop you right there, Chief. An invasion of privacy, huh? You are on his private property. He has every right to record you. I'm not a lawyer, but would you also make this claim if you made yourself look fucking silly at a Starbucks who has security camera footage of you in their store? Like, let's say you spilt coffee or you were pouring coffee down your lieutenant's butthole, giving him an enema in public, and they're like, oh, this is kind of embarrassing. We're gonna sue you for an invasion of privacy because you filmed us. Would the argument work there in that place of business? I imagine private residents also still have the right to record you when you are on their property. They don't need your consent. You entered their domain. You stepped into their neck of the woods. I feel like they have the right to record you. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a stupid paint-huffing idiot when it comes to the law, but I still just find the claim comical an invasion of privacy. I guess them going through all of his shit, throwing his suits all over the place, breaking down his doors and all of that in his own home. I guess that's not an invasion of privacy. That's just a general wrongful invasion, considering this whole thing was completely bogus. It was a completely botched little raid here. They're claiming that Afro Man used their faces from the raid and used it in music videos and social media posts without their consent. Again, I don't think he needed that, considering they're on his private property in the first place, but regardless, they go on saying, it's caused them emotional distress, embarrassment, ridicule, loss of reputation, and humiliation. So these officers were born with glass bones and paper skin, huh? They can't take a few jokes on the internet. I imagine they're lying about this. I can't imagine they actually suffered any real emotional distress or anything. I don't think people were on the streets shooting spitballs at them as they walked by, pointing and laughing. Though they should, because they're fucking clowns for what they did here. I can't show the music video, but I highly recommend watching it. They look so fucking stupid in this thing. And it's all dog shit. Like, none of it was real to begin with here. It was just a completely failed raid from top to bottom. And they even had the audacity to disconnect his cameras when they noticed that the security cameras were on. It's just foul. Completely foul. I do hope they feel silly. But apparently, the silliness doesn't stop there. Maybe it's a humiliation fetish, because now they're suing him and making themselves look even stupider, which is crazy. I'll go ahead and boil all this down for you. The plaintiffs are seeking all of Afro Man's profits from the use of their personas. That includes the proceeds from songs, music videos, and live event tickets, as well as any of the money that he made using their likeness and his brand and other merchandise. And they're also looking for an injunction to take down the videos. Afro Man made like an entire album's worth of songs around this raid on his property, and they all fucking bang. It is so amazing. Afro Man absolutely crushed it with this whole thing. Literally turned into like a money-making merchandise music video, like empire, all off of this failed raid from them. And now they're coming to put their hand in his cookie jar and take all of that money away that he made from this whole situation. Afro Man is attempting to countersue them for the undeniable damage this had on my client's family, career, and property. Law enforcement officers were acting on a warrant that stated probable cause existed that drugs and drug paraphernalia would be found on his property and that trafficking and kidnapping had taken place there. But it turns out that boogeyman was completely wrong. All of those suspicions turned out to be unfounded, and the raid failed to turn up any real criminal evidence, so charges were never filed. And in Afro Man's music video, through the cameras, he was able to notice that some of the deputies may have seized some of his money. He was talking about some missing money that took place during all of this, and whoa, can you believe it? After a subsequent review by the State Bureau of Criminal Investigations, they determined that the deputies had miscounted the amount seized during the raid itself. What a silly little error that was. What a goofy little freak accident that was, that some of the money was just a little miscounted, and some of it went missing, I guess? Oh, that's odd. So that's really this whole situation. They're suing because they look fucking stupid here, and a lot of people are making fun of them for this whole situation. Afro Man put them on blast and made an entire album's worth of content around it, and now they're out for revenge. So I can't show you the music video, but I highly encourage you watch it. I would like to show you a couple frames from it and just kind of talk about it because it is so fucking wild. I'll go ahead and crop their faces out so they can't feel offended or humiliated here. But, so this is one of the early shots. The officers were going around checking every nook and cranny of his property. I guess for kidnapping victims are like pounds upon pounds of weed. And for some reason, Officer Action over here, fucking Danger Commander, comes over and like looks behind the couch here as if he was gonna find like some kind of like goblin or something back there that he was gonna light up. Like, I understand they thought that there was some kidnapping element to this whole thing, but I mean, even in this situation, if there was a kid back there and you climb over the back of the couch, you're immediately pointing a gun in their face. I can't imagine that's the best way of looking for kidnapping victims. Like, the way they go through his whole property is very cartoonish. Here's a little shot of some of the team out here for the class field trip. One of them is dressed like he's ready for actual combat, as if he was gonna get in here like a G.I. Joe episode and fucking hunt down Cobra Commander in this property. So the first thing they did when they arrived is they busted through this gate here and broke it. So Afro Man's already down one gate just from them showing up. And then they go to his door, and this is where you get the title of the song. They blast this shit in. This shit just gets rocketed off the frame here. So, he's asking, can you repair my door and my gate? Like, that's the whole point of the song. Like, can you repair this shit? And then also pointing out all of the other goofy things that happened. And here's where Afro Man started to get a little suspicious about them potentially taking money from him, so he starts talking about it in this scene right here. This was already after going through and throwing around half of his belongings and like going through each and every suit pocket they could find. And here's the final shot. This is where the fun comes to an end. They disconnect his cameras, so they open up this panel on the wall and they disconnect all the shit, so he could no longer record the rest of what was going on the property. I just really had to talk about it because it got me fuming. To turn around and sue someone for hurt feelings after you were just in the wrong to begin with is just such a level of delusion that I can't help but be upset about. Afro Man did nothing wrong. He recorded you guys and then took a bad situation that you have created. The claims you were there investigating, nothing was ever found, so it all seems like bullshit. And he took that and he made comedy out of it. He made content out of it to try and turn something shitty into something less shitty, and now he's being punished for it, or at least attempting to, from these extremely sensitive, I guess, officers that are super offended that people have been making fun of them for this. Like, it's pretty disgusting. So yeah, I just wanted to at least... There's almost no areas I'd be considered an expert in. When it comes to intelligence, I rank just barely above Patrick Starr. But there is one field in particular I really think I'm a connoisseur of and would be considered one of the preeminent experts in that domain. Dumb things on stream. I have this all-seeing eye. I've got my feelers everywhere in order to stay finger on the pulse and up to date with every awful stream moment that happens. Usually it's a bunch of harmless cringe material that's not serious, but today I've got something dangerously stupid to share with you. This is probably the dumbest recorded broadcast with a firearm I've seen since that Twitch streamer did a desk pop and blew a hole through his wall and executed his cup by shooting his gun while live. And then he made like a Mr. Beast thumbnail face in response to it because he couldn't believe he just fucking shot around in his house. He got banned for that, rightfully so. You can't just be cosplaying Yosemite Sam and start fucking blasting around. It's called a negligent discharge when you recklessly fire it and it poses a threat of injury or death to someone around you, which is what happened there. He accidentally fired off around his own home. It could have easily struck someone innocent and killed them. It's a bad thing. And that, to me, was still the dumbest moment I have ever seen on stream until it was beaten today by this.
Where? Oh my god! What the hell was that? He shot it! Jeezer!
Yo, y'all living the life, bro. What the fuck?
Apparently that's a Marine. I don't know if it's a current or former Marine. If it's a current one, I hope he's ready to be a former one. He just got caught on camera committing a crime. It's a negligent discharge. That's a textbook showcase of what a negligent discharge looks like. You can hear him flip off the safety and then fire those 2 rounds just to play a joke on Aiden Ross. But that joke could have easily resulted in him blowing his fucking foot off with that. You would have had Aiden Ross streaming with a goddamn peg leg like a pirate here from this stunt. I couldn't believe what I watched. In fact, I was in disbelief in trying to debunk this myself, thinking that perhaps he was using blanks and this was a staged stunt. But I watched it back, and it doesn't seem like blanks. It blows up a sufficient amount of dirt. Now, there's a misconception about blanks in general where people believe that it basically turns a gun into a toy, where it's 100% safe, nothing can go wrong really, when that's just not true. Bruce Lee's son was actually killed by being shot close range with a blank round. Sometimes shit happens. There's accidents. There is a lot of danger that can still be posed when using blanks. So even if it is blanks that he's using, it's still reckless to shoot it like that close to Aiden Ross next to a human being. But like I said, I don't think it's blanks. I'm pretty sure these are live rounds that he used for that.
Where? Oh my god! What the hell was that?
Here's another angle that showcases the proximity of the shots relative to Aiden's feet. Luckily, no one was hurt here, but there's something else I want to mention. He just fired this weapon when nobody around in this video has eyes and ears on, meaning no one has eye protection or ear protection on. Guns are really fucking loud. And if you're firing a gun without ear protection, that can cause some actual hearing damage. Which is why whenever you go to a firing range or anything that's even remotely professional, you'll see everybody is wearing ears and eyes. They have protection on. No one here does, meaning I'm sure some people had their ears wrung from that one in a pretty severe way. All just because Goofball wanted to play a practical prank on Aiden. The haha, I almost blew your foot off prank. A timeless classic, I guess. There's only like a couple of rounds that you can fire without ear protection comfortably, and those are subsonic rounds mainly. Like that you can fire without ear protection and not have your ears bleed. But those are not subsonic rounds that he's using, I don't think. It certainly doesn't sound like it. I've fired quite a few subsonic rounds of my own. I know what they sound like. I don't think that was an example of it at all. Unless he's using some really special Marine exclusive prototypes or something. There is just so much wrong with this 20-second clip here. I still am in disbelief that a Marine apparently did this. I don't know what he thought would happen as a result of it. This isn't something that normal people just brush off as like a silly moment or like, just a joke. That is something that just put the entire life of Aiden Ross in jeopardy with that one simple decision right there. Again, firearms are not a toy. Like, there was so much that could have gone wrong there. Like, after firing the first shot, maybe it kicks a little too much and it throws his wrist off a little bit, and then it aims more at Aiden, and he fires the second shot, and just fucking splits his leg in half right from the shin. There's so much that could have gone wrong. It's a miracle it didn't. Now, I have to imagine, with how viral this clip has gone, that Marine is probably going to face punishment. Again, it's a crime. It's a negligent discharge. Like, there's no way of arguing otherwise. So yeah, I just wanted to show this because I was baffled by that clip. Again, even if it's blanks, it's still reckless and a dangerous thing to do. So yeah, this is probably the dumbest stream moment I've seen now, beating the previous negligent discharge of a firearm from. The hogfish hasn't evolved in 300 million years and is called the perfect animal. And all it does is spread slime in the water. The fuck is a hogfish? Gigantic this is called the perfect animal? Bro, this thing looks dumb as fuck. I was expecting it to be like Cell from Dragon Ball Z or something. We had to shoot this huge fish for our safety. Glock. What do you mean, why? Did the fish hold you at gunpoint? What do you mean? What did you catch? Like an Atlantean or something who came up with this trident? I don't think I'm sure you could have just cut the line. What kind of goddamn American shit is that? Oh my god, the fish is too big. Quick, get the Glock! It was pulling the boat down. Then cut the line. Or shoot the line, I guess. I don't care. So this is the one that's supposed to be the perfect animal?
These are coming in just covered in slime, and here there's something moving inside. I think the only way I'm going to get those out is to put a hand in and pull.
It's like Spider-Man swung through. God, it's like that scene in First Men in Black where that lady gives birth to the alien.
What I've got in my hand here, this hagfish.
Why don't they evolve?
Could be called a living fossil, because in terms of body
Who cursed them?
This creature has remained pretty well unchanged for something like 300 to 500 million years. All
these things don't even evolve. It's fucking cringe.
Would ultimately have come from something rather like this.
All it does is goo.
Don't have jaws.
Evolution is cruel. For 300 million years, the hagfish have done nothing but ooze cum for no reason. When will they finally advance up the technological chain?
A fish so ancient, it has remained unchanged for 300 million years.
That's nothing to be proud of. Because evolution forgot about it.
Is the hagfish.
Gave up on it.
And slithers along the ocean floor.
Oh my god, never mind, it's perfect.
But no spine. Like something out of an alien movie.
That just looks painful for it. Surely it should have evolved to make this a less awful process for the fish. It looks like it's actually hurting itself every time it opens its mouth.
Maw is made for.
They put a GoPro on a dead fish.
But its paddle-like tail makes light work of swimming.
They're very intense.
Soon, it's a frenzy of multiple mincing mouths.
God, no manners at all.
And to keep other hungry onlookers,
they don't even have like little hands or anything.
Fish excrete copious amounts of slime into the water.
Wow, I see why they've remained unchanged.
It may be months before they find another meal like this.
Well then, how is it not evolving? If it goes months without a good meal, wouldn't it evolve to maybe get like, I don't know, like a fucking mounted turret on its skull or something? Like anything to help it hunt? Find more food? If it has to wait months in between meals, well, meaningful meals, and it can't even hunt anything that's alive, it has to wait for someone's sloppy seconds, why wouldn't it evolve to be a better hunter? This thing was literally created by evolution to be a loser. It evolved past the need for food, I guess. Scientists film hagfish anti-shark slime weapon. What a cool title. Do they have technology? Like an underwater base? Get out of there, hagfish! Oh, he's kicking sand in his face. No! Oh, he didn't like that slime. Ew, yucky. Oh, this thing just came in my mouth. How vile. Yeah, maybe it is perfect. I mean, as far as defense goes, I imagine it's pretty solid. Like, if I was getting into a fight with a dude, and I got my hands on him, he just fucking ejaculated on me, I'd be like, oh my god, I think I'm done. Well, I never. It's enough of this. Man, these sharks really want the hagfish. When will they learn? They're dealing with perfection. Yucky! Ew! Oh my god, you heathen! Oh! Have some decency! Thanks, Yusuf Connor. I take everything I said back. I'm a hagfish fan. What if you fell into a pool of hagfish? You'd never get out. You'd fucking, the weight of all their slime would drown you, I bet.
They're sneaky, they're slimy, and they're hungry for meat that secrete stringy proteins when the hagfish feels agitated. This slime can expand 10,000 times larger in under a second, making it a lethal choking hazard to predators.
Man, it's such an off-meta build, too. It doesn't do anything except slime. Literally all it does is slime.
Hobbyists are actually turning their pools
and it somehow works. It's like a rogue build.
For fish and plants, ears, and the crevices of your body. If it got in your mouth and started to expand in your throat, you could choke very quickly and drown. Eventually,
God, what an awful way of going out.
On your body.
What creature defies science, carries your money? What? You're telling me the hagfish has robbed me? I'll have to check my NFT portfolio. How is it carrying my money? What the fuck happened? What is going on with the hagfish community? Yeah, that's probably enough hagfish. I feel like I've learned all there is to know about the hagfish now. I become a fan. Alright everybody, stand back. I've got my whining diaper on, and I'm about to have an accident. I have a huge pet peeve I've talked about a lot on this channel, and that's parents that expect the internet to raise their kids for them, and then getting outraged when the internet doesn't raise them the way they want to, or if their kid finds something that they didn't approve of, even though they were completely absent in the child's life and just leaving them unsupervised to wander the World Wide Web cyberspace by themselves. There are a few things that make me as upset as when these parents all start having this temper tantrum like, why isn't YouTube doing more to protect our children from seeing videos with bad words in it? My kid just watched something where a guy said fuck while playing Roblox. This has gotta stop. And it's like the solution is super simple, just be a fucking parent. Don't just give them an iPad and walk away and consider your job as a parent done. It's always just extremely frustrating, but today I was reading some things that really grew my pet peeve to a broader scale. It started slapping new things together on top of it like a Megazord and Power Rangers coming together. So I think overall my huge issue here is just bad parents. So there's a lot of commotion and hubbub on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook, the usual suspects, about Guardians of the Galaxy 3 being way too violent, dark, and disturbing for the PG-13 rating, saying they pushed it too far. And it also apparently has the MCU's first fuck, which I didn't know. I mean, I knew it was in the movie. There's a scene where Chris Pratt, with his potty mouth, says some foul language, dropping the F-bomb. But I didn't know that was the first time in MCU history, so they all collectively lost their goddamn minds about it. Just all this steam coming out of their ears and making these super heated and emotional cringe TikToks about the situation, saying that it's evil and this should have been an R-rated film. It really pushed the PG-13 rating way too far. They started issuing these PSAs and warning like, don't bring children to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's too much for them. It's gonna scar them and traumatize them for life. It's almost like they were doing some kind of like air raid siren, like making sure all the neighborhood knew, like, hey, watch out, there's a dangerous person over there, we gotta avoid him at all costs. Like, they were going hog wild with it. And speaking of going hog wild, I recommend going hog wild with today's sponsor, Opera GX. Big thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring today's video. Opera GX is the best browser in the entire world. I've said that a million times now. I made the switch from Chrome to Opera a few years ago and I've never looked back. It is just far superior. It doesn't, hog all your resources. I have my own mod in Opera GX, which changes the wallpaper, and it also comes with its own custom theme and sounds, so when you hover over things like the speed dial, it'll change the sound, which you can toggle on or off if you want to, but it also has opening and closing sounds associated with it. Baby! So yeah, it's just a wild and wacky fun thing. There's a huge selection of mods for Opera GX at the Opera GX store. Plus, you can also get all of my latest uploads in the GX Corner, which is available through the dedicated link. It's also a seamless transition from your current browser to Opera GX with the quick import feature. It'll take all of your settings, your browser history, cookies, all of that, and bring it right over to Opera without any headache. And as well as extensions, because Google Chrome extensions are compatible with Opera GX, and Opera GX has its own extension store as well. So it's all just a very easy thing to switch to, and is absolutely worth making the switch because Opera GX is the far superior browsing experience. If you're interested in getting started with Opera GX for free, click the link in the description below. Now, I understand the MCU's Weenie Hut Jr. mode, and they all carry PG-13 ratings, but that's meant nothing. It's really been completely meaningless, more meaningless than the WinRAR free trial warning. So I understand kids have been watching the MCU. In fact, most of those movies lean into that demographic, like trying to cater to actual children, the ones that are in the theater clutching their action figure in suspense, watching, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. All of these films have been suitable for, actual 6-year-olds. I get that. But they do still have a PG-13 rating, meaning that they don't recommend children under the age of 13 see them because it might be inappropriate for them. So you can't exactly be upset and shaking your fist when one does roll around that is actually probably not suitable for kids under 13, like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Someone made a really great meme summing this up because it's embarrassing even talking about it this way because the movie's not that fucking intense. You're not going to go in there and leave with PTSD. I can't find the tweet, but it's the SpongeBob roller coaster meme here, and it was like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 PG-13 debate summed up. And it's obviously just poking fun at the people that are freaking out about the movie being super intense, even though in reality, it's not. Yes, it is darker, and it is, a more edgier MCU movie. It does deal with heavy themes like animal abuse, which is, definitely a first for the MCU. It's the first fuck and the first ASPCA commercial, really. And it also, of course, does have a bit of gore. There's a scene where a guy gets literally vaporized, and then they show, his corpse that's still charred, and, pieces of him are falling off. And the dude's face does get mauled, his whole face gets peeled off in an animal attack. So they do show that, his bloody, disfigured face. But, aside from that, it's really, it's not something that I think anyone that's 13 and above is going to be like gasping and puking their brains out at. It didn't do anything that like pushed the PG-13 boundary. It played by all of the rules in there. It used its one fuck and it used it pretty well. And it only had a couple of scenes where it's like, that's kind of dark. It wasn't anything that was like crazy over the top. All of this is just such worthless controversy over nothing. Just more things to get mad about for no fucking reason other than you're a bad parent who didn't take any level of responsibility here. It's the same energy as when a parent gets mad that they bought their kid an M-rated game and it's a little too bloody or it has some heavier themes that their child wasn't ready for. Your fault for buying them the M-rated game. Pay attention to the ratings because they are there for a reason. It's just super weird with modern parenting, and this is getting off on a bit of a tangent. I apologize for that, but it's related. You know, this isn't just coming out of fucking nowhere here. We're not fighting ghosts or anything. It's on topic. The parents will just sit their kids down in front of the iPad, just let them use the internet, and just have them be raised that way, or give them like some general entertainment franchises and have them raise their kid as well, like teach them the morals, and the parents are very hands-off, but then still feel like they have the right to complain when it wasn't done the exact way they wanted to, or if something went awry and the kid, saw a video online that wasn't appropriate for them. It is, again, your fault. You did that. But now, parents don't want to really raise their kids, so they're asking, like, the government to step in and, like, censor shit on the internet that they feel is dangerous to kids for if they see it. And it's like, well, why do you want the government to come do that for you? Just be a parent, make sure the kid doesn't see anything they're not supposed to. You're supposed to be there monitoring your fucking toddler. So why are you asking Big Daddy, Big Brother Eye in the Sky to come in, micromanage everything in the world in order to cater to your kid and your lack of parenting? Like, just be more present in their life in order to make sure that they're not just scrolling through TikTok mindlessly for 12 hours a day, rotting their fucking brain and ruining their attention span. It just makes me upset that the first thing that happens in a case, and not so much with Guardians of the Galaxy, this is more about like the general internet. The first thing that happens is the parents get upset like, oh, my kid was looking for tutorials on YouTube and a bad actor popped up. So now I'm suing YouTube and demanding censorship on the platform because what if another child sees this? Well, it's like, why not just be there when your kid's on the internet so that way when you recognize that there is a video that isn't appropriate, is in the algorithm, you can make sure they don't click on it. That's the whole point of being a parent with a toddler that you are raising. You're supposed to be raising them, not having the internet do it for you. And I just don't like how the first line of defense is always to start complaining to like a higher authority to change something in order to cater to your bad parenting and lack thereof parenting. It's always so fucking frustrating. And it also happens a lot with video games with like M ratings, like, why is this game M? It should be adults only. I bought this for my 7-year-old and it's way too bloody. What the fuck is this? This should be only adults. War crimes? Oh my god. Adults only. I beg of you. Please, do something about the madness. I don't know. I just needed to whine now too. Now I'm crying like one of their toddlers here who just saw a Finger Family video that went off the rails. It's just something that this Guardians of the Galaxy 3 debate has once again sparked a rage inside of me with, because I just wish parents would stop delegating that responsibility. The most important job of a parent is to raise a kid, and I wish they'd stop giving that to complete fucking strangers on the internet, or just the general expectation that everything and everyone in the world has to cater to them and the safety of their child when they don't feel like being there for them. So everything's got to be squeaky clean and sterilized with the bumpers and water wingies on it. So that way it can be completely safe in case a kid happens to see all the content. When really all of the issues get solved if the parent just does a good job parenting, or even attempts to be a parent and present. Like, I just hate that everything has the expectation that it has to be child friendly, when there is things that are just not made for kids. And in this case, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 13 is not made for actual children this time around, which I also think is a first in the MCU. This is definitely one that is more for, like, teenagers and above. So, at the risk of just sounding like I escaped from a padded cell, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume I'm not the only one that does this, where you brainstorm this absolute ridiculous fantasy about what you would do in a perilous situation, how would you stop a criminal if you had to, right? So you're out at a restaurant, you start like looking around, and for some reason you just play through this fanfic in your head of, what if a bad guy comes in with a bazooka? What's the protocol? How do I save the day and keep everyone alive? And, you know, whatever. Everyone plays out this hero fantasy in their head, I think. And today, I saw a news story where I have no doubt the main character here had this envisioned in his head since the time he was a child and actually got to pull it off successfully. There was a criminal on the loose, and he was apprehended by the most unlikely of suspects. Like, I would have been less shocked if it was Captain fucking Underpants that caught this guy than who it actually was. A golfer. A dude just casually out there chugging some brewskis with the boys on the front nine ended up catching a criminal in one of the wackiest ways I've ever seen.
Police cars pour onto a golf course. They're going after a suspected bad guy. But no need to hurry. He's trapped in a porta potty.
We couldn't believe that he went inside there.
I can't believe this isn't a skit. It's real. This is legitimate. Life sometimes imitates cartoons. So, what happened is, I'll let the rest of the news segment play in a moment, but I want to break down the cliff notes. A criminal was running away from authorities, and he tried to hide inside of a porta potty for cover, you know, basically playing it like a stealth game, you know, where you're trying to de-aggro by going inside of something like in Assassin's Creed where you dive into some hay. He went into a porta potty. One of the golfers saw this, and also saw the authorities were looking for him, and took this as his moment of opportunity to strike. So all his neurons were firing, and he came up with a genius scheme here, where he would tip over the porta potty and trap him inside. And for anyone that's been around the internet for a while, you'll know that this was actually like a nefarious, like downright evil thing that some people would do to strangers in porta potties, where they would tip it over, it would land on its door, and it would trap them in there, and it'd cause all like the poop and pee and everything in the porta potty to splash around on top of them. Absolutely degenerate, I think, criminal prank. But here, he took something truly awful and turned it into a force of good. So he tips over the porta potty, causes it to fall on its door, meaning the criminal that's on the run is now trapped inside that porta potty. But not only that, all the contents from inside the porta potty are now all over him. So he's covered in all kinds of shit and piss. Like, he probably contracted more diseases than the Oregon Trail. Like, this man's probably got dysentery and fatal fart disease now from this. Like, he added insult to injury by not only catching him, but covering him in toilet waste. It couldn't be worse. That is a fate worse than just going to prison. Being trapped in a porta potty you can't get out of. Oh my lord, it is so revolting.
The bizarre case starts when a stolen car crashes outside Milwaukee. 4 people inside take off. There goes one, then another, then the third, then the fourth. Cops say one of the bad guys ran to the golf course. Not exactly a great place to hide with all that wide open space. So what'd he do? He jumped into a porta potty. Fortunately, a golfer saw what was happening and tipped the porta potty over.
I can just picture this scene playing out in my head. The guy who tipped the porta potty over, our savior, his name is Adam. So he sees the criminal run into the porta potty, and he immediately gets to thinking, it's time to start stinking. He gets a big smirk on his face, slowly sets the 5-iron back in the golfing bag. He was about to hit a spectacular shot, eagling the par 5, but he says, it can wait. I've got business to tend to. And then just fucking sprints over and blasts the porta potty over, trapping him inside. This guy obviously knew that he had to tip it over onto the door. This is a guy who was familiar with that old awful prank people used to do, and he turned it into a force for good. That's crazy.
Golfer Alyssa Boland was there.
He made a quick decision to tip it over, walked away and said, good luck, buddy.
You can just imagine what happened next. The suspect found himself trapped inside.
Don't let this deceive you. Don't get it twisted. This was after the suspect had been apprehended, so they had pushed the porta potty over, so that way the door was on its side so he could climb out. But when it was initially tipped over, it was on the door, so there was no escape. He was truly at the mercy of whoever would come to free him from this fucking fate worse than death, being trapped in a porta potty with everything sloshing around on you. And I think it is so badass that the guy who did it didn't stick around to give an interview or anything. He just pushes it over, apparently said, good luck, buddy, and left. He just sailed off into the sunset, held his head up high and said, I did good today. Like, he wanted no part of any kind of fame or glory or recognition for this. He didn't want the keys to the city. He just wanted to go back to finishing his game. He probably still went and eagled that par 5.
Back at the clubhouse, a police officer commandeers a golf cart and drives over to the porta potty. The cops roll the porta potty over so the suspect can get out.
Come out!
Crawl out, dude!
Then he states the obvious. He's not exactly smelling of roses.
Don't do anything stupid.
One cop puts on gloves before he goes anywhere near the suspect. Hey, wouldn't you?
Are you injured at all? I'm just scratching.
I will say, at least he didn't have to spend that long stewing in all the juices of the porta potty. He wasn't in there for that long. Like, it just didn't become like a sarcophagus for him where he's in there for like hours upon hours or anything. He was there for a little while. Even still, of course, it's awful, but he did have another thing working in his favor in terms of this porta potty in particular. It's on a golf course, so I can't imagine that it's that full. Like, it probably wasn't at maximum poop capacity or anything. Like, there was probably only a little bit of shit and pee in there. It probably wasn't crazy. If this had been a porta potty at like EDC Music Festival or Coachella, you would have went straight to heaven the second the cursed fluids inside of that porta potty touched your skin. If you were in one of those porta potties that got tipped over, it would have sent you to meet your maker. It probably would have melted you instantly. It would have been like that scene in Indiana Jones when they open the Ark of the Covenant and everyone's fucking flesh just starts melting off of them and they die instantly. That would have been what happened with one of those porta potties. So it definitely could have been worse in terms of porta potty selection. This porta potty seems to be in the middle of nowhere on a golf course. I imagine it wasn't a high traffic area. It probably wasn't seeing a ton of action. If I had to get tipped over in a porta potty, I would probably want it to be this one. Like, I'm going out on a limb here. This could be an absolute catastrophe in there. I'm really not sure. We didn't get like an aftermath report where they do like a tour of what the porta potty looked at after it was tipped over. But I'm just giving it the old eyeball test here. I didn't see a ton of like horrifying things in the porta potty for the brief moment we caught a glimpse of it. So I don't think it was the worst in the world. There's definitely worse porta potties it could have been. Of course, I'm sure he's still not happy about the situation. Like, like definitely still horrifying, but you know, there's definitely more disastrous porta potties to be tipped over in. I'm getting a little sidetracked. What a crazy way of apprehending a runaway criminal here from someone who just happened to see the whole thing unfold and have this opportunity to help by pushing over a fucking porta potty. Like, the simplest thing ever from, like, old internet days of the worst pranks ever, and it actually ended up being helpful. And then the guy, the dude who tipped it over, has just vanished. He said, I'm done here. This is my legacy. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. I saw this. Hold on, let me pull it up. So we have a follow-up to the Burger King story. The Burger King manager who was serving people french fries from a trash can has been arrested. They got her. Rightfully so. Food tampering is serious, man. That shit is actually, like, horrifying. You remember there was that viral trend of insufferable assholes licking ice cream at supermarkets and then just putting it back? Or, like, spitting into, like, drinks and then putting them back on the shelf? And they all faced, like, potentially serious charges. It's because food tampering is such an important thing to crack down on. And now she's getting slapped for serving trash can french fries, which is so weird. Like, french fries, like, it's not like there was any shortage of them. It's not like she was saving money by serving french fries out of the dumpster. But I love the trash can seasoning. Yeah, someone in chat made a great point, because when I first read this story, I said, like, how could you even tell it's Burger King? Haha, everything's fucking terrible there. It's all trash. There's no way you'd even know. And one guy in chat was like, well, that's how they knew it, because it tasted better, so they were suspicious. And it turns out they were from the trash can. It's a baffling crime. And hopefully she faces serious repercussions. Food tampering is serious. Do you guys know the history of why food tampering is so cracked down on? I don't even know why I'm asking this like I'm in some kind of fucking classroom setting. I'll just tell you. It's because there was a case a long time ago, I don't remember when, There was a case of some absolute menace, some fiend, started tampering with, I think it was Tylenol, and they poisoned it. And just poisoned a bunch of Tylenol across a bunch of different areas, and they never caught the person. And it was a huge problem because it led to deaths. And they couldn't trace anything because there was nothing tamper-proof. They just laced Tylenol and fucking killed them with cyanide. So they really busted down on all of it, which is why food tampering carries such a big possible sentence. It was cyanide, right? That they laced the Tylenol with? I'm almost positive. There were 7 deaths, and it was in October, from September to October of 1982. And yes, it was laced with potassium cyanide. Did they ever find out who it was? No. There's a whole Wikipedia on it, though. The Chicago Tylenol murders. But because it was, like, widespread, they couldn't really track down who it was reliably. It was just, it's too hard. The trash can fries were an accident and she'll get off. Were they? I've seen conflicting reports on that. I haven't read this story, from this source yet. Let's see. I don't think it was an accident. You don't accidentally serve someone dumpster fries. Let's see. Officers allege that Jamie Major, the location's assistant manager, put the discarded fries in the tray and added freshly cooked ones on top. The incident allegedly happened the same day as the previous argument for disturbance on July 9th. When they got there, they found 2 women identified as customers arguing with staff, and they arrested the women, charging them with disorderly conduct. 2 days later, the department received a complaint that the fries had been tossed in the trash. Fries that had been tossed in the trash were being served to customers. They'd been put in the garbage by the person who filed the complaint with the police. Major was arrested and is facing charges of malicious tampering with human food. She is being held on $20,000 bond, according to the Union County Detention Center. They received a statement from Burger King that said, "These allegations do not align with the brand's commitment to quality food and service and creating an exceptional guest experience. You have failed on all of these. You have failed on actually every single one of these fronts, Burger King. The franchisee of this restaurant is cooperating with local authorities and will take appropriate action based on the findings. As this remains an ongoing investigation, we are unable to share additional details at this time." Imagine going to jail for fries. She won't be alone. What's crazy is, within the last year, she will not be the only incarcerated criminal off of French fries. There was a guy wanted for murder. I think it was murder. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive it was murder. He had a warrant out for his arrest, and he was served cold French fries, and he was so offended at getting served cold French fries, he called the police. When the police arrived at the scene, they ran his details, found out he had a warrant out for his arrest, and then he was like, "Oh shit, this was a bad idea," and he ran away. The police tased him and took him into custody. All because he self-reported over cold French fries. I'm gonna double check. I think it was murder. I think he was wanted for murder. which is crazy. Like, he got away with murder and then it's like, cold fries? Nope. We've got to get the police down here ASAP. This is unforgivable. Yep, murder suspect. Yep. That was August of last year. The footage of it is kind of crazy too. Not that anything wild happens, he runs away and gets tased, but like, he looks so befuddled that all of a sudden, the whole situation turned on him. He really thought he was in the right over those cold French fries. Man, every single one of these is requiring ad block. They're really trying to cash in off this story here. They weren't even cold, actually. I tried the fries, they were lukewarm. Room temperature fries. They weren't even like ice cold. He wanted that shit piping hot. He couldn't have just asked for a warm batch. I don't know. Apparently they got into a little argument or something. Owner was cussing at him, and I guess it got out of hand. Or the trash can fries at least warm. Might get a few years off her sentence. Good question. This article didn't say the temperature of the fries, but it's Burger King, so I think we can rest assured that not only were they unsalted, but they were also probably cold. We'll have to read the case files when they're released. How do you tell trash fries from normal fries at BK, though? You don't. They must have seen it. And I believe it was actually called in by somebody who watched her do it. So you had to visually see it. You'd never taste the difference at BK. The worst crime ever. It's definitely got to be up there. What is the minimum sentence for malicious food tampering? Hold on, I'm gonna see. Okay, maximum is 10 years for tampering with consumer products. That's assuming there was no injuries. Which, I mean, you could maybe make a case for psychological damage knowing you ate from the Burger King trash can. Eating from a trash can's bad. Eating from a Burger King trash can, that's like biting into like raw plutonium. You're really rolling the dice. That's gotta be the most radioactive fucking trash can ever. The dumpster behind Burger King, good lord. Filled with fucking gamma radiation. Though in Texas it could be up to 20, but this wasn't in Texas. If you check the same news site, they have an article titled Manager, Assistant Manager Arrested During Operation Special Toppings. Is this how they caught her? They had to have like a whole sting operation? They had like a van with a satellite dish parked outside the local Burger King here. Fucking binoculars out there with like a stakeout waiting. Operation Special Toppings nabs 2 pizza parlor employees. Oh, wow. How deep does it go? Oh, accused of using restaurant to make drug deals. That's so much different than just serving trash can fries. This is not the same. Would you ever do a fast food breakfast tier list? Man, that's fucking... I'm no stranger to stupid ideas. In fact, I'm the god emperor of dumb, dangerous shit. Recently, I thought it'd be a really cool video idea if I strapped Kevlar to my chest and then shot myself point blank with a revolver, just because I thought that'd be like super fucking cool, like how strong is body armor and is it painful? Hopefully the body armor would be strong enough to stop the bullet. It wasn't like an elaborate suicide attempt. Yeah, I was convinced it was a cool idea because the guy who invented Kevlar, I think every year for the last like 30 or 40 years, he has a convention like a Kevlar con, like furry con but for body armor enthusiasts, where he puts on a Kevlar vest and he takes a revolver and just shoots himself in the chest. And dude's like 80 years old and he still does it, and I'm like, if this old fucking fossil's bones can take it, I'm sure I can too. And I'm like, that's a good video idea. I had to be talked out of it by my friends. The point being, I come up with shitty, dumb ideas all the time. Another really banging bad idea I had is I thought it'd be great if you directed a porn video, but put like a jump scare in there. Just put like right when it's reaching climax, so that way whoever's jerking off is about to like blow their load, and then all of a sudden, bang! Big jump scare out of nowhere. Just to really ruin someone's day. Again, bad ideas across the board. So I have a keen eye in recognizing impossibly awful ideas, and one I want to share with you today is one that I found really enjoyable. Of course, it's on Kickstarter, where all bad ideas go, especially when they try and scam you. This is a lawnmower that uses lasers to cut your grass instead of the spinning blades. They claim that lawnmowers are the cause of over $1 billion worth of injury per year. Like 550,000 Americans are being injured and dying from the lawnmower menace, making it sound like this is the real pandemic, that lawnmowers are killing everyone out there. You know, in 10 years from now, it's going to be nothing but mangled corpses littering the United States because the lawnmowers are